Hi again everyone, Chris Tisdell here again. In this presentation I'm going to continue my series of videos on complex numbers. Now in the previous video we introduced the idea of a complex number, we motivated the study of complex numbers, and I said in this video I'd be doing some basic operations. So the idea of this particular presentation is to show you how to add and subtract two complex numbers. So let me share my screen with you. So I'll talk about how to do it. I'll discuss a couple of examples, and I'll talk about the geometry, what it geometrically means to say add two complex numbers. So let me share my screen with you and we'll get underway. Okay, so here I've got two complex numbers, say Z and W. Remember, I is defined to be the positive square root of -1, and I satisfies I squared equals -1. That's not necessary to understand what we're doing here, but that's just what the I means, okay, the imaginary unit. Okay, so to add or subtract two complex numbers, you just add or subtract their corresponding components. Okay, so it's pretty easy. So let me show you what I mean. Here's one I've prepared earlier. All right, suppose I've got these two complex numbers, Z and W, and I want to add them together. All right, well, just like with regular algebra, you would group the like terms and you would add them together. So you can see here, the real part is 1, the real part over here is 2, so you group them together. You group the multiples of I together, and you just add them together. Okay, so 1 plus 3i plus 2 plus I is 3 plus 4i. Okay, pretty easy. What about subtraction? Let's say I'm taking W away from Z. Well, same sort of deal. You would group the like terms together. Okay, so the real numbers, 1 minus 2, group them together, group the i's together, and you just perform the operations as you would normally. So 1 plus 3i minus 2 plus I gives you -1 plus 2i. Okay, again, pretty easy. Okay, so that's the algebra of it, and just the sort of the idea that goes through your head when you're adding or subtracting complex numbers. What is the geometric interpretation? What's going on geometrically here? Well, in the previous video I showed you how to represent complex numbers on an Argand diagram or in the complex plane. Can we sort of talk about addition in this complex plane or on this Argand diagram, and what does it mean? Well, the idea of addition is seen through a simple parallelogram law or triangle law. Okay, so let me plot in these two complex numbers in this complex plane. So 1 plus 3, I'd go one unit this way and 3 units this way. 2 plus I, I'd go 2 units this way and 1 unit this way. Okay, so that's the point associated with 1 plus 3i, our Z. That's the point associated with 2 plus I. All right, so if I now were to draw a little line segment from those points to the origin, I get these little line segments here. Okay, well, let's plot in, well, I'll do something with those in a minute. Let's plot in the sum of these two numbers. So 3 plus 4i, 3 and then 4. Okay. Okay, now, if I now take these points and join them up to this new point, I've got a parallelogram. Okay, so here's my Z, in this case, here's my W, and here's my Z plus W. So this is what I mean when I talk about a parallelogram law for addition, okay? You take this point and this point, you add them together, or this number and this number, you add them together. If you draw line segments from those points to the origin and then form a parallelogram, the point that the sort of diagonally opposite point from the origin will be where your sum should lie. Okay, so if you're adding two complex numbers together, and you can plot them in the complex plane pretty easily, you have some idea of what their sum should be. What about when you take one away from the other? Well, you can still apply this parallelogram or triangle law to it just by considering this. Okay, so from W, you would draw in negative W, which would be negative 2 minus I. Okay, so it'd be negative 2 minus I down here. And then you draw in those two bits and you would draw the parallelogram associated with them. And you know that it's going to end up somewhere up here. Okay, so that's how you would geometrically apply this parallelogram or triangle law to subtraction. Okay, so that's a very basic short video on how to sum two complex numbers and how to subtract a complex number from a complex number. Okay, in both cases you just work with the like terms or the corresponding components. All right, and with the geometry of the method or the idea involves a parallelogram law. Okay, now in forthcoming videos, I'm going to talk about other operations, scalar multiplication, multiplication of two complex numbers, and division. So I hope you can join me for those presentations. If you have any comments, you can put them in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. Hope you can join me soon. Bye.